It's all so clear to me now, who I truly am. All that pompous religious rhetoric, mere pageantry to obscure the truth. I see what I want, and I make it mine, by any means necessary. Plus, now I've acquired a truly magnificent set of knockers. And to think, all it took was but a nudge, a gentle push through the arch, or, more truthfully, bodily tossed through, kicking and screaming the whole way. With the transition of Willow to William, and Garrett to Gabriella, only Noodles was direct and, let's be honest, simple enough to recognize its true advantage. Namely, if his advances were to be spooned by the bar-wench schooner, there was but another way to get at ogre orcish titties. And am I ever grateful he did. Not only have we both become radiantly beautiful women, I also feel a sort of je ne sais quoi. It feels as though our very essences have been altered as well. Whereas Noodles was carefree and open, Fusili is a touch more taciturn and discerning. And while Gerald buried his wants and desires neath a facade of self-aggrandizement and theological quibbling, Geraldina is not so reserved. Why justify my desires when I could simply indulge them? Why stop at fine wines and enchanted armaments when all things could be mine? Why settle for finery when I could possess opulence? Why scheme, manipulate, and engage in the occasional bit of murder to, shall we say, control a city, when, with my beautiful Fusili at my side, I might claim the whole of the Sword Coast? Nay, why not the whole of the world? And who precisely intends to stop us? Our companions? Well, Carmen is putting up quite the fuss. Perhaps striking her closet was a touch hasty, but I disliked its newfound sanctimony. All that goodness and virtue was terribly tiresome. Besides, it was in my way. I then saw Garrett arrive, somehow no longer the svelte and shapely Gabriella, only for him to vanish somewhere or other. I felt mayhaps he absconded down the hidden passage Carmen had revealed, and we were all but ignoring. I will admit to uncertainty as to this, as I was somewhat distracted, dealing with this unfortunate misunderstanding betwixt Carmen and ourselves, assuming an exchange of fireballs could be interpreted as a misunderstanding. Finally, Fusili and I had her at our mercy. And no, I was decidedly not almost unconscious and bleeding profusely, and Fusili was decidedly not missing every single swing, whilst Carmen laughed in our faces, eyes aglow and fingers wreathed in flame, regardless of what you may have heard. We most certainly would have defeated the uppity sorceress then and there, if Garrett had not reappeared, shielding her from the coup de grace. Lofted upon his translucent wings, he beseeched us to spare her. And so, with a sigh and a roll of the eyes, we benevolently relented. I left the tomb with nary a backward glance, hand in hand with my ravishingly alluring Goliath, and set off in search of more private accommodations. Yes, I think it's safe to say the only thing sparing the whole of the material plane from our ambitions is the fact that Fusili and I find one another infinitely more distracting than world conquest. For the moment. But who is to say that in time we cannot have both? Yes, perhaps afterward, we shall pay a visit to Baldur's Gate. After all, if one intends to claim the world for their own, one must begin somewhere.